Welcome back to the Melanin Wellness Podcast. Today's episode is one that sits right at the intersection of purpose, healing, and impact. We talk a lot here about holistic success, about blending entrepreneurship, self-expression, and self-care in a way that actually feels aligned. But what happens when your lived experiences, even the hard ones, become the blueprint for service? My guest today took personal family challenges and transformed them into something powerful. A nonprofit that is rooted in love, legacy, and dignity. Miss Ann's Helping Hands was created to fill a real gap in care for families navigating illness, aging, and financial barriers. Because sometimes support isn't optional, it's essential. This conversation is about turning pain into purpose, building something sustainable, and serving your community without losing yourself in the process. So let's get into it. Welcome back to the Melanin Wellness Podcast. Today's episode is one that sits right at the intersection of purpose, healing, and impact. We talk a lot here about holistic success, about blending entrepreneurship, self-expression, and self-care in a way that actually feels aligned. But what happens when your lived experiences, even the hard ones, become the blueprint for service? My guest today took personal family challenges and transformed them into something powerful. A nonprofit that is rooted in love, legacy, and dignity. Miss Ann's Helping Hands was created to fill real gaps in care for families navigating illness, aging, and financial barriers. Because sometimes support isn't optional, it's essential. This conversation is about turning pain into purpose, building something sustainable, and serving your community without losing yourself in the process. So let's get into it. Marcia, welcome to the Melanin Wellness Podcast, my friend. Thank you for being on the mic with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. You guys, if you don't know, Marcia is a friend of mine. And so when she told me about her nonprofit, I knew I had to bring her onto the show so that we could talk more about this amazing mission. So let me ask you something. How did your personal experiences with your mom and your great-grandma inspire you to create Miss Ann's Helping Hands?
So, it's a funny story because I used to tease my mom, and we used to, sorry, can I breathe? Okay. So, yes. So, yeah, it's a funny story because me and my mom used to jokingly play when she was here with us.
Mm-hmm.
She passed 12 years ago, but, um, 12 12 years ago, she was on dialysis. That's
Mm-hmm.
not the funny part. The funny part is when my nickname is Ma. And when I used to say, Miss Ann, she used to laugh really, really hard. And so that's where, that's where the name came from, Miss Ann's Helping Hands. So she was on dialysis, and I used to help her right out of school. I would help her with her dialysis bags because she used to do dialysis from home.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's where it started.
So can you tell me a little bit more about Miss Ann's legacy? We want to know about the lady that was worthy of this.
Yes. So she had a genuine heart. Like, she was a heart of gold. I'm not just saying that because that's my mother. Like, everyone that knew her, she just was a very sweet person.
So did she also lean into acts of service like her beautiful daughter?
She worked with children.
Okay.
So I work with children with disabilities, and so I did get it from her. But
Mm-hmm.
yes, so she had a passion to help others as well.
Many times when we are people who love to do acts of service, we often come from that somewhere in our lineage. And that's why
Mhm.
I asked that question, because if you just have that heart for something, it usually comes from somewhere.
Right. Yes.
So when you
So
first imagined starting your nonprofit, what were your hopes versus what were your fears?
So the hope was to help millions around the world,
Mm.
to not just be a blessing for my immediate surroundings, but um helping people across America. The
Yeah.
fears is um I would say finances, not having enough to provide for people who are in need.
Yeah, and I think that that is a very real fear for many people who start businesses, nonprofits, all over the place. That is a huge fear of not having enough finances to be able to make the true impacts that you really want to make on those that you are seeking to serve. Do you agree with that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, can you break down the core programs that this nonprofit will be offering?
Yes, ma'am. So currently we have three programs that we are offering. So our first one is assisting elderly or developmental disabilities. So we bridge the gap between families and CNAs, caregivers.
Hmm.
So, excuse me. So yes, ma'am, if you own, like an example, if you own a home, oftentimes you don't qualify for Medicaid.
Mm.
So that's where we step in and assist people who are homeowners and they don't have the private insurance or just don't know where to get the resources. That's where we would step in and bridge that gap.
Okay.
So that's our first program. And then
Okay.
our second program is small grants. So we offer small grants to business owners anywhere from, well, I'll say 5,000 at most. So you'll go on our website, mon.org, and you'll apply for a grant and we choose, and that's the process.
Okay. What's the third group that you were referencing?
So the third one is education. So we also offer not grants but scholarships if um they qualify.
Mhm.
So yes, ma'am.
Now, are the scholarships, are they for high school graduates or are they for people who have graduated and still need extra funds to further their education?
That's a great question. So it's for high school, going out of high school into college.
Okay.
So, not necessarily just for the high school students, it's just going into college. So, if you're a mother who's looking to go back to school, we help with that. Yes, ma'am.
I love that. I love that because one of the things that I know, I'm a mom myself and I've been in the position many years ago, searching for funding and things like that to help pay for education to try to avoid taking out those dreaded student loans.
Mhm.
And I can
Yes.
remember struggling trying to find other resources and grants. Now, is
Yes.
this is part of your target specifically the Black community, since we often are the community that lacks the most resources when it comes to initiatives like this?
I wouldn't say it's the target of our target audience is not just Black, it's for all.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I love it. I love it. So, share a story with us that reminds you why this work matters, something that really hits in the heart.
Well,
Now,
I've
it doesn't
been
have to be anything super personal, but just, yeah, just share with us. We want to know who you are.
okay. So I started working with developmental disability, believe it or not, first grade, actually.
Oh,
I was
wow.
volunteering. I used to give up my recess to to be with developmental disability. So it's always been in my heart to work with children with needs. So right out of high school, I worked at a group home, also in college, but working at a group home as
Mhm.
well. And I've just been doing it since high school. So I just noticed being in this field for so long that hey, it's a gap there, like when it comes to people who own homes. Because my personal experience with my grandmother, she was a homeowner, but she also didn't have private insurance.
Mm,
So at that time, we were, scrambling and trying to figure out how, to make sure that my grandmother was okay,
Yeah.
with the CNA. And so that's when I noticed, like, okay, it's a it's a gap there.
I love that. I love that because I have two babies that are on the autism spectrum. And so like I know how big the gaps can be sometimes because some of the things that I've had to do as their mom, like I've had to become their own personal teacher and all the
Mhm.
things because there
Yes.
are gaps in funding, there are gaps in just services sometimes,
Mhm.
and not knowing, oftentimes you don't know where to look for these services because unfortunately so many of them are hidden. Is that going to be something that you guys are going to also look forward to helping with connecting people, even if it's like, hey, you know, maybe they don't necessarily qualify for the financial piece, but they're just like, hey, I don't need that part. I just need to be connected and know where to look for this resource. Is that going to be something else that you guys are willing to offer?
Yes, we are. I'm glad you mentioned that. We actually was just discussing that yesterday in our board meeting, but
Great
but yes,
minds.
yes. So that is a part of the process, not just helping financially, but also helping with resources as well.
Okay, I love it.
Yes.
I love it. So, can you tell me how your organization helps to create stability, dignity, and opportunities for those whom you all will be serving?
Yes. So we allow the CNAs to help them in their homes versus them having to go elsewhere. They can get the care that they need inside their homes. So,
I love that because that is one of the things that is so, so important. And many people may not understand, many of you listening may not understand how important remaining independent and having that
mhm,
dignity is for people who are, developmentally disabled or maybe elderly. They want to be independent, they want to have that sense of dignity and pride the same way that
mhm.
everybody else does. So I love that your organization is really trying to help cultivate that for the individuals that you will be serving.
Thank
So
you.
you're welcome. So, how are you balancing leading a nonprofit with your personal life and your own personal growth?
So I can't say I'm doing it alone. Now, anybody that say they are doing everything on their own, I don't know how, but that's not me. So, I mentioned earlier in one of the questions that you asked, we do have a board. So it's a team of us
Mhm.
that's behind the scenes and making it happen. And also with did you say my business as well, or you just
Yeah,
saying
like
my?
how are you balancing your
Mhm.
own self-care and growth with these initiatives? Because this is an initiative that can be particularly heavy. It can be heavy on
Mhm.
the heart, it can be heavy on the spirit. And so those types of labors of love require a heightened level of self-care and self-protection. So how are you balancing those?
Always God first.
Absolutely.
That's priority number one. Um, everything that we do, it we always pray first.
Mhm.
So that's number one. And then I do take little notes, and when I wake up I'll write some notes of how I plan to have my day. Of course
Yeah, yeah,
it doesn't always pan that way,
yeah.
but but that's how I keep things organized, because anyone that knows me could tell you I'm very organized.
Yeah, you got to be.
So, yes, so
Yeah.
that actually helps. So God number 1, organization second.
Okay, but what are you doing for you? For you. That's what I want to know. For yourself. How are
Mhm.
you pouring into you so that your cup can continue to fill others' cups?
So I do massage. I get a massage,
Love
and
that.
I okay. So, also I have a dog, it's just me and Daisy.
Mhm.
Well, her name is Daisy Dukes. So, yes.
That's so cute.
So just pouring back into myself is church and relaxation by myself at home, just breathing in and,
Hmm.
you know, just,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I love that.
taking
So,
myself out to eat.
yes, yes, those sound like those are some, rituals and practices that are helping you to stay grounded while you are serving others. Because this is something that I have learned throughout my years here on this earth is that when I give to other people, I have to pause to give to me too. That
Mhm,
cliche about, when you're on the plane, they say, well, put your mask on first. Like people
mhm,
dismiss that and discount that, but that is so important because you
definitely.
cannot pour from an empty cup. Like, trust me, I done tried it.
Correct.
I done tried it. I done
Yes.
tried it plenty of times, and that does not work out too well.
Mm-mm. Right.
So, what advice would you have to give to someone who may have something that's on their heart, that's in their spirit, and then they're like, you know what, I'm thinking of starting a nonprofit. What advice would you give them on how to blend entrepreneurship and service and self-care all together?
I would tell them keep God first. That's first. And stay grounded,
Mm-hmm.
meaning um when things do start to happen, don't, just be humble and continue to stay prayed up,
Yeah.
just that's that's how I've gotten where I am, just staying grounded and keeping God first.
Would you say that having a strong support team behind you is also a key piece to it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Because, studies
So
show that
family.
those people who have strong support systems are just happier and healthier
Mhm.
overall. So I can imagine taking on such a worthy cause in this manner would definitely require you to have that strong team. And that strong team sounds like that's your board.
Right. Yeah, because currently it's just me. Like I live alone. It's just
Hmm.
me and my dog. But absolutely right. Family isn't always, your blood family. So
Right.
friends and family is family.
Yeah.
So that's my team. That's
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. That's what helps keep you balanced and yeah,
Yes.
moving forward. So you told me about an upcoming event that you are having this summer. I want to know all about it. And please tell us, how can people get involved?
Yes. So we have an event coming up July 18th. So mark your calendar.
Mhm.
We're going to have gifts for the children, a back to school event. So we'll also have notebooks and book bags with just school supplies in them.
Mhm.
We also have free food. So if you're in the Charlotte area, please stop by to get the address. Please go on our website, or we also have Instagram. All the other social media is coming soon, but right now it's Instagram. So you can find the address there.
Oh, that is so exciting. I can't wait. And guys, if you are listening and you are in the Charlotte area, I will be attending the event in person. So you never know, you might run into me there.
Yes.
So if someone wants to support Miss Ann's helping hands beyond attending the event, let's say that they're like, hey, I would love to come, but I already got some stuff and I can't make it. What are the best ways that they can support the organization?
Okay, so you can click on mon.org, go to mon.org, and under mon.org, there'll be a section where you can donate or volunteer or apply for scholarships. So it's different parts on there that if you're interested, please go to mon.org.
Nice. And all of these resources and links will be available in the show notes, like as always, for every episode. So, what's a piece of wisdom that you've learned from this journey that you want every listener to take away from?
Staying grounded, wisdom, staying grounded.
Yeah.
Just, um,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am.
So, when it comes to showing up for others, it can be one of those things that definitely has an emotional capital to it.
Hmm.
However, what you get back from it is priceless. There's not a price that you can put on being able to help someone in need.
Right.
And
Right. Correct.
especially when you have been in the situation or a similar situation and understanding, those struggles. I thank you so much for coming on the show. I am so excited for the event and so excited to see all the amazing things that you are going to do with this organization.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this interview today. Thank you.
Oh, you are so welcome. Miss Ann's Helping Hands was born from love, legacy, and lived experiences. And what I admire most is that this isn't just about charity. It's about dignity. It's about making sure that families don't feel alone when life gets heavy. We talk a lot on this podcast about holistic success and blending entrepreneurship, self-expression, and self-care. And today you heard what that looks like in action. Purpose with boundaries, service with sustainability, impact without losing yourself in the process. So if this episode moved you, I encourage you to learn more about Miss Ann's Helping Hands, supporting the upcoming event by connecting with them on Instagram or the website. The link will be available for you in our show notes. And share this episode with someone who believes in building strong, supported communities. And as always, take care of yourself while you take care of others, because you deserve support too. Until next time, family, keep growing, keep glowing, and keep choosing wellness, mind, body, and community.